today is choosing our family ties. I thought it was the weekend before Thanksgiving. This might be timely for some of us. If anybody has family karma issues, might be good to hear that that's okay. So, this is a week and we're going into the holidays, and a lot of us are thrown together with our families of origin, and some of us that's a wonderful, joyous reunion, and others of us it's a very, very stressful thing. And it just kind of depends on your family of origin. And what I want to be here to talk to you about today is that there's a bigger family out there that we get to choose. Because family is based in love. It is always based in love. It is not necessarily based in blood. It is not necessarily based in lineage. I loved the Maya Angelou quote that Sandy Lynn read. We have siblings. That doesn't make them necessarily brothers and sisters. Now it can. It can. I know many people who are so tight with their birth siblings. And that's a beautiful thing, but it doesn't necessarily come from the bloodline. It comes from the relationship of love that gets built on top of that. And that's the important thing. And we have a choice in that. We did not have a choice into where we were born consciously. I do believe our souls chose on some sort of cosmic level to be born into the families that we were born into. But we now, as we are older, we can choose who we continue to have in our lives as our family. We get to do that. So I started thinking about this, and so the family ties, the choosing our family ties is the name of my talk, and it, of course, comes from the phrase, the ties that bind. And I looked up the original usage of the ties that bind comes from a hymn written in the 1830s, 1837, and it's about a family of faith. And the lyrics are, "Blessed be the ties that bind our hearts in Christian love." Doesn't say anything about family. And then the end it says, "When we asunder part, it gives us inward pain, but we shall still be joined in heart until we meet again." So it's talking about that family of the heart. And then, of course, when you Google the ties that bind, what you get first, you have to dig really deep to find the 1837 hymn. What you get is the opening of Grey's Anatomy. That's what you get first. Which says, "The ties that bind us are sometimes impossible to explain. They connect us even after it seems like ties should be broken. Some bonds defy distance, time, and logic." And I found both to be equally profound. So I just had a ball on Google this week. So then I Googled the word family, and I got the definition of family. And here's the thing I find fascinating. In 12 definitions on dictionary.com, here are some of them. A basic social unit consisting of parents and their children. All those persons considered as descendants of a common progenitor. A group of people, this is one I like, who are generally not blood relations, but who share common attitudes, interests, and goals. But here's the fascinating thing. The word I didn't find anywhere in there, not once, was love. Not once. Not once did it say that families are people who love one another. And I find it fascinating because what I have noticed about the American culture is that is true, that families are not necessarily people who act like they love one another. They may love one another, but they don't act like it. And that's where we get to choose. I also found it fascinating. I looked in the Bible because this phrase kept coming up for me, and it wasn't said in reference to family, but it was said in reference to basic Christianity. And it's in the book of John, John 13:35. "A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye love one another as this. By this shall all men know that you are my disciples, that you love one another." I want to change that. By this shall all people know that we are family, that we love one another. My overall point today is that family ties are built on love. On love. On love. My family of origin, in particular, was made up of brilliant people. My family is so well educated, it's amazing. My half-siblings and I, between us, we've got something like 12 college degrees. There are 4 of us. And my brother never went to college, so between the 3 girls, we've got like 12 masters, PhDs, whatever. We're brilliant people. None of us learned how to love. We really didn't. We learned how to be guilty. We learned how to be obligated. We learned how to act the right way so that we didn't embarrass anybody. But we didn't really learn how to love one another. That just wasn't in the equation. I was telling someone, actually I was telling Judy when I was confirming him for my installation. Had to get that in there again, sorry. So excited that he could come. I was so sure that was like, this was such ridiculously short notice. I'm like, there is no way he is going to be able to come. Eugene calls me, he's like, yeah, he's available. What? So excited. But I was telling him that I sent my daughter away to Pennsylvania to college because when I was young, I was the only child of a single mother. And it was clear that I was never to leave home. So even though I was accepted to colleges all across the country, I went to the University of Colorado so I could stay home and take care of my mother. And I never spread my own wings. So from the time my daughter was 8, when I divorced her dad, I told her she would be the only child of a single mother, that I would pay for her to go to college anywhere in the United States, as long as it was not Colorado. Now I was kind of thinking Wyoming, or Utah, or not Pennsylvania, but hey, I lived by my mother. Because I didn't want her to have that guilt and obligation that can be so common in families, that is implied, it isn't even spoken, it's just that implicit, you're supposed to sort of thing. That's not what family is. And so for any of us who are going to be going to visit family or have family come to us and might have that dynamic operating this week, what I want you to know that families are based on not only how we feel about each other, because I'm sure that if I asked everyone in this room, you would say, I love my family. I love my family. But I don't know that we always act like it, and I don't know that we always insist that they act like they love us. So families, first of all, that love is built on mutual kindness. When you love someone, you are kind to them. You are kind. There's a university professor named John Gottman at the University of Washington. I actually talked about his study a couple of weeks ago, and it was funny, right after I talked about it here on Sunday, my daughter sent me an article by him. She said, isn't this amazing? This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I said, oh, it's funny you say that, because I just talked about him on Sunday, but then I read the rest of the article that she sent. He can predict among married couples, within 3 minutes of being with them, if the marriage will last or not, based on one thing. Are they kind to one another? Are they kind? What is it about our human psyche that tells us that if we're close to someone, that's a license to be mean to them? To be sarcastic, to make fun of their weaknesses, to attack at their Achilles' heels? Am I the only one who's ever experienced this? I think we all have some, because our family knows us so well, they know all of our weak spots. Yet, they sometimes aren't kind. And, here's the other row, we sometimes aren't kind back. I don't want you to raise your hands, I know that's nobody in this room. Mutual kindness is a hallmark of loving someone. And so when we are choosing our family ties, we want to choose people who are kind to us. We want to choose people that it feels good to be around. We want to choose people that we trust to be in that space of generosity of spirit, of kindness, of givingness of spirit. Not judgment, not creating something that is their projection of how we should be, but are kind. My family, sarcasm has been up-leveled to an Olympic sport in my family, and they're funny. We're funny. When they all go, it's funny. It's hurtful as heck, but it's hilarious to the people who aren't the target. So what that did in my family is that you learned how to be quicker-witted than everyone else, because if you're the one throwing the zingers, then there's no time for anyone to throw them back at you. And so our family occasions were this sarcasm-a-thon, which, like I said, they're funny as long as you're not the target. I don't know what other family dynamics are, but at some point I said, I don't really want want to play anymore. And so I began choosing. I was just telling someone earlier that Thanksgiving for me, I haven't done Thanksgiving with family in a very long time, mainly because of distance. I felt too guilty to actually tell them I didn't want to spend Thanksgiving with them. Guilt, obligation, remember what all the things that it's not supposed to be. I couldn't say no, but as they all moved away, I was kind of like, yay, I can have my friends over for Thanksgiving. So for years, I did what I called an orphan's Thanksgiving, people who didn't have other family around, and I'd invite them over, and they were always fun. They were always fun. They were people that I loved, people that were kind, people that were generous, people that were fun to be around, people that appreciated me and that I could appreciate back. So that I chose my family rather than just going with the ones with the same last name. Mutual kindness. The other one here that's very close is mutual respect. Families treat one another with mutual respect. So that got a little fuzzy for me, so since I was having such a ball on dictionary.com, I looked up respect. And the dictionary definition of respect is esteem for or sense of worth toward a person. Sense of worth. We want to choose people to be around us who we value and who we know value us, whether they are blood related or not. We want to choose people to be around us who respect us. So when my daughter was little, I was a mess about being mom. I had said before I got married to her dad, I never want to have children. Never, 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 no kids, not for me. Because I was afraid I'd be a terrible mother because I didn't know how to do it. I mean, I was afraid that I would be sarcastic and disrespectful and mean and all the other things, and so I was like, too much risk. But then, life happens, and I got married, and my husband wanted kids, and we had our daughter, and she's such a blessing in my life. But the way I do things is when I'm scared, I kill it with information. So I had stacked this high of books on how to be a good parent, your child's self-esteem, parenting with love and logic, raising a kind child. I mean, I've read them all, name one. Dr. Spock, of course, a little outdated, but I read it, and I read everything. And the thing that I took away after my head was swirling with all this information on how to, potty train, don't potty train, get them on a schedule, don't get them on a schedule, feed on demand, don't feed on demand, nobody could agree. After all of that, the thing that came to my heart was just treat her like someone I love. Just treat her like I love her. And so from the time she was little, I respected her. When she started to cry in the middle of the store and embarrass me, I had to stop and go, do I really care what these people who are staring at me like I'm a bad mom think? Or do I care what this little being is feeling? So I would stop and say, what's wrong? She's screaming and horrible and throwing things and stomping her feet and having a tantrum, and I am right there present with her. Because I respected that something was going on with her, something, I don't know what, but isn't that how we want to be treated? When something is upsetting us, don't we want someone to hold our hand and go, there? We don't want someone to go, oh, that didn't hurt. That was my mom's favorite line. Oh, that didn't hurt. Really? Because it hurts, That's disrespectful. Would you do that to any other person on the planet? I mean, if you saw someone coming in with a head wound, would you go, oh, it's not that bad? Of course not. And yet, for some reason, our families do this. Our families do this to one another, and I think it comes down to respect. And I tried to carry this through with my daughter her whole life. When she got old enough to make choices, I asked her opinion. Now, as a parent, we have to set proper parameters. So I didn't say, what do you want to wear to school today? I said, do you want to wear the blue outfit to school, the pink outfit to school, or the green outfit to school? It's your body. You pick which one of these to wear. Respect. And consequently, at age 21, this kid can make decisions. I mean, I still can't make decisions as effectively as she can. But families treat each other with mutual respect. So again, that's the double-edged sword. We get to choose people in our lives who respect us. We get to have people in our lives who treat us that way. And we treat others that way if we want them to be in our lives for very long. And sometimes, not sometimes, it is a well-known psychological thing that we hurt others from the place where we have been hurt. So our own wounds come out in how we treat others. We don't even know we're doing it frequently. My mentor and my beloved friend who's going to preside over my installation, Dr. Kathy Hearn, she called it, we grow up all over each other. And so sometimes I inadvertently grow up on the people I love. I don't mean to hurt them, but I do. I disrespect them. I don't mean to because I have nothing but the utmost respect for them. What do? We own it. It's not them, it's us. So yesterday I got my feelings hurt. And I got really angry at the person who hurt my feelings. And I kind of blew up a little bit. But it was my fear of rejection, my stuff, that caused me to get angry. So because I love and respect the person that I got angry at, okay, Steve, you guys all know already. I had to go back later and say, I'm sorry I was so grouchy earlier, and I'm sorry I yelled at you. He didn't do anything wrong. But boy, it felt like he did. It felt like he outright rejected me, and I'm not going to put up with this anymore, because if he loved me, he wouldn't do this, darn it. You know what he did? He walked ahead of me with one of the dogs, a little farther than I thought was appropriate. And then when I called and said, wait, he didn't hear me. And so he kept walking. How dare he? That's me. That's me, that's not him. As soon as I told him that, he apologized. He acted with respect to me. He said, I'm sorry. I didn't hear you. I didn't know that's what you wanted. Because then, once he did hear me and turned around, in my growing up all over him, like, just go. Just go on. Go ahead. Just go. I don't care. Go. So he kept going. Why did he leave me? We grow up all over each other, but we have to come back to that place of love and respect. We have to respect the other person enough to apologize to them, and we have to hope they respect us enough to kind of go, oh gosh, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, but what was that? In a loving way, but mutual respect. And then the last thing that we have to be, this is the hardest one, mutual honesty. Like brutal, but not brutally. Honesty. When I married my first husband, I was 20 years old. And he still is, a good man. He's a good man. He's a good father. He's a very good man. And I saw what a good man he was. But remember, I didn't learn how to love, so I didn't know what I was feeling for him. I just could intellectually go, oh, he's a good man. Check this off. Oh, he's kind, check. He's good looking, check. I'm 20. He's got a nice stereo, check. You don't need to look for it at age 20, He's got a good education, check. He'll be a good provider someday, check, I never checked in with me to get how I felt. Somewhere in our engagement, I realized I wasn't in love with him. As I'm reading all the bride's things, and they're talking about how you're supposed to feel on your wedding day, I didn't feel it. But I wasn't honest. I couldn't be honest. I was afraid to be honest. How many of you are afraid to be honest with your family because you don't want to hurt their feelings? You think that somehow it's your responsibility to make them feel better. It's not. It is not your responsibility to take care of anyone except the person sitting in your chair. You do not have to hide your own feelings or lie. Nobody does this intentionally. I didn't intentionally lie. I wasn't trying to hurt him. I just didn't want to hurt him, and so inadvertently, I did because I wasn't honest. And I remember the feeling I had when I was walking down that aisle. I was sick to my stomach. I felt it here. I felt it here. I felt it everywhere. And as I said, I do. I just resigned myself that this was just going to be the rest of my life, and I could never, ever, ever, ever let this horrible secret out. And we were married 15 years. We have a beautiful daughter together, and those years were good. I don't want to look back and say they were terrible years. He and I were best friends we created this beautiful partnership. We called it Morley and Company. We were great partners in business type things. We ran an efficient household. We were great co-parents. But we were never spouses. And after I had cancer, I went, you know what? I can't lie anymore. I have to be honest. And I remember the day I asked him, I said, are you happy? He said, yeah, sure, I'm happy. I said, no. Like, are you happy? Well, guess what? He'd been lying to me for 15 years, too. Good for us. We got happily divorced. And we were great friends and good co-parents after that. Family, when we love people, we love them enough to be honest. Honesty means having crucial conversations. That means saying things like, you know, when you walked ahead of me with the dog, that really hurt my feelings. It also means being secure enough in yourself to hear that without getting angry back, without getting defensive, without growing up now all over the other person. You get to be in that place of honesty and hear the other person's pain without internalizing it, without taking it personally. And it's that level of mutual honesty that builds a family. Now, I don't know how many of you have blood families, birth families, that you can have that level of honesty with. Or that you have a practice of having that level of honesty with. Many of us don't. Many of us come from families where you just don't talk about it. You just, oh, something's wrong? Okay, shh. We don't talk about it. Oh, Dad's drunk again? Shh. We don't talk. Or, what, Mom's having one of her episodes? Shh. We learn these things when we are very, very young. We learn these things when we are pre-verbal sometimes, and certainly before we're old enough to choose. And so we get these great coping strategies that we take into adulthood with us. We get these wonderful strategies of not telling the truth, of stuffing our feelings, of being sarcastic so that we aren't the first ones hurt, of being mean and creating good zingers, of discounting other people's feelings. They're wonderful coping strategies when we're young, and they get us through a crucial period of our childhood. At some point, they stop working in our adult lives, and we don't know it. As we think about choosing our family ties, it's time to look at these things. It's time to let go of these old coping strategies. It's time to have the courage to choose people who are kind to us, who respect us, and who will always be honest with us. It's time to choose those people. And it's time to be kind, to respect people, and to be really honest about how we're feeling. Now, the thing about honesty, I love this. There's a thing called the Sufi gates. Has anyone ever heard of the Sufi gates? There are 3 tests that you say when you want to be honest with someone, when you feel that that heart connection is being diminished because you haven't been totally honest and you want to maybe get back to that honesty. I always suggest that people take what they want to say and put it through the Sufi gates. Is it true? Is it kind? Here's the big one. Is it necessary? You know, it might be true that someone I know is acting like a complete jerk. It might be true. And it might be the kindest thing I could do to let them know that so that they stop acting like a jerk. But it may not be necessary that I tell them because, you know, it just may not be necessary because it's not going to do any good and all it's going to be is hurtful. So we have to practice this. Now these are practices that we get to do. And here's the best practice of all. Can you do this with your family of origin? Can you be kind to your family of origin, even if they aren't kind to you right now? Can you respect your family of origin, even if they don't respect you right now? And can you be honest with your family of origin, even when everybody else is operating in this kind of weird codependent cloud? Can you speak the truth? And if you can't, that's okay. Choose other family ties. Be with people who make you feel good. Be with people who support you. And if you are called to heal some of those relationships, then practice these other strategies. But the bottom line on all of this is that families are built on love. And love doesn't come from them first. It comes from us first. We are the generator of love. So it's not, if only my family loved me more, I'd be better. But can I get to the place in me where I know that there's a divine love in me that is infinite, that has never been diminished or damaged or hurt, never, ever once. And that love lives in me, and I can get in touch with it in any moment, and I can project it outward to these people that I call family, whether by blood or by choice, and that I can then stand in the truth of that love no matter what is going on. And that is what we get to practice this week. Let's pray. Okay, on that note, let's pray. So I invite all of us to feel into that place of love. I invite all of us to feel deep in our heart, deep in our solar plexus, deep within us, to that place where love lives, to that place where we know we are one with God, to that energy within us that has never been damaged, never been hurt, that is always a beacon of wholeness. It's there. Take a moment to really feel into that place. Breathe into it. Some people say it's where the in-breath meets the out-breath. And as we feel into this place of love, what I know to be the truth is that love is the truth of who we are. It is the truth of who everyone is. We are first and foremost love in physical form. And so I claim for each person here that love is bubbling up within us and expressing as us. I know for each of us that we go out into our week recognizing that we get to choose the ties that bind us. We get to choose who we share our lives with. We get to choose based on this love. We get to choose based on kindness and respect and honesty. We get to show up as those qualities, and as we show up as those qualities, we attract to us people who treat us with those qualities. I know for each of us that we go into this week of Thanksgiving grateful for this new understanding, for this learning, for this ability to be grown-ups, to let go of the past, to let go of any old coping strategies that don't serve us, to let go of any ties, obligations, duties, guilt, fear, to just allow Spirit to carry those away, to wash those away. As we lead with our heart now, and we step forward with a new understanding of family, a new gratitude for our family of choice, a new understanding of who we are and how we are uplifted in this world. And so with this understanding comes grateful thanks for all of the people that we interact with. I am so grateful for this community of love, Foothill Center for Spiritual Living. I'm so grateful for each person here, whether they are here this week or not, who come on Sundays, who I feel the love from in this room. I am so grateful for all of the people in this community of Evergreen, this community of Greater Denver, this community of the world, this community of souls. For love is always the truth between our souls. And so it is with grateful thanks that I move us into this Thanksgiving week, able to stand in that place of love, to be a beacon of that, to be the pebble of that, no matter what the circumstances. And so from this deep and profound feeling of gratitude, I just let go. I know that God is always with us, always in the midst, and always working through the law, making my words so even as I speak them. We are divine divine beings. We are magnificent. We should be treated as such, and we treat others coming from that place of knowing it. That is already done. I let it be so, knowing all is well. And so it is.